All right, what's going on, everybody? It is March 12th, 2024. It is 4:34 p.m. This is the professional trader here, and I'm also here with Kailash. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good. Yeah, keeping things, you know, steady. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good to hear, most definitely. Man, I started fasting, man, because I'm Muslim, bro. Ramadan started, so
Oh, nice. A heavy
yeah, man.
Ramadan. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. So I'm on that journey while I'm doing this journey as well, man. So
It's interesting.
hope I could
There's
do it.
a thing going on like in southern India
Mhm.
and they fast for like 40 days. And when I heard that, I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I can at least do like five. Like, so
Are
that's cool.
you are
I think it's good for your health too.
Yeah, for sure. Is it going on right now?
I think it's around this time. So maybe I know it's this month. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But what I wanted to talk about, man, was the CPI numbers that came out today. CPI year to year, 3.2, a little bit hotter than expected, but still hotter than expected. And then core CPI 0.4%, so hotter than expected as well. CPI stayed the same, but for me, it's a little bit interesting just because the story for like the last week or two. We've kind of been seeing cooler numbers. Numbers have been cooler than expected. We've seen unemployment go down and things like that. And I feel like from a bearish standpoint, this is like, what a lot of people, was waiting for. Either like same as expected or less than expected. But interesting to see that the numbers came out higher than expected, possibly meaning that, inflation is still on the rise or inflation may never get cut. What do you think about these CPI numbers today?
Yeah. So it's just like I agree, like it's reinforcing like because the Fed really wants, they say they want to be at two and they don't want to
Mhm.
be like they don't want to touch two. I believe they said that they want to like see time, like a little bit of time. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure like the rate cut for the next meeting is like definitely not going to happen.
Okay.
And it's pretty much a battle because I've been listening to the two like some not economic, but like macro
Yeah.
people talk about it
Yeah.
and they're all talking about the election. So it's
Mhm.
all about like how close
Yeah.
to the election are they going to cut rates, I
True.
guess.
True. Would like even before looking at the markets, just looking at these numbers, do you think this is a big enough change for like the direction to shift again? Or do you think that the direction, which for like the last 2 weeks has been bearish, is still intact?
Honestly, I think it's okay. And I think with the market, I think that's like I'm kind of it's hindsight because I can
Mhm.
see like the market hasn't really overreacted
Yeah,
so
yeah.
far. So
Mhm.
I kind of can see that. Like it's not a crazy number. It's a little bit off, but it's nothing like 2022. Like we're not getting like visible signs of like anything.
Mhm. Okay,
But it's
cool.
almost like you know how like forest fires start? It's all about the
Yeah,
environment. Like if it's
right.
too dry, I think
Mhm.
this setting, like they really want inflation to be like down, down,
Right,
and it's
right.
not coming down. So
Yeah,
if something happens in the world, oil prices kind of shock up, or some events happen with the supply chains, it's kind of like that forest fire environment. Like a fire could start, inflation
yeah,
could pick up. So there's always a
yeah,
risk there.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I agree 1,000,000% with what you just said. But taking a look at the DXY, kind of like what you just said. So, we had better than expected CPI, but like looking, at the charts, not the biggest, reaction versus, this whole move. So, the market's still in a slight, corrective phase, I would say. But one thing I do just want to note is, if we kind of drop down to the higher time frames, we did technically make like a new higher low. So that just has me thinking that maybe the dollar has a little bit more room to go to the upside, maybe before, the trend continuation to the downside, or at least like how it's been doing here. But I'm a little iffy personally, on the DXY. But for me, I'm still waiting on that second confirmation, right? So I'm still waiting on, to see if we break this. And then, if we break this, for me, this is a more telling sign that, that the market, probably needs to run, retrace a little bit more before going down. But my my long-term like perspective still really hasn't changed on the DXY. But with the numbers that did come out, I'm not rushing to take any bearish dollar setup. So it's like I'm kind of just in a limbo right now, I guess you could say. But
And I think the good thing is it matches the environment because the
yeah.
market's not accelerating in one way. So
Mhm.
it's good. Like you're kind of like you're in step with the market, basically. Yeah, I agree.
Mhm. But I just want to talk about a couple setups that I'm looking at, man. And then I know you told me you took some trades today, man. If you could
Oh, yeah, yeah.
kind of just yeah show me how that went. But um, so AUD USD, looking at it on the 4 hour, it's still like in this overall like kind of range. On the 4 hour last week, we broke above it, but on the daily. It tells like slightly a different story, right? Because it closed bullish for the day, but to come all the way up here and then reject, pretty telling as well, right? But still like just in that like overall range. But on the 4 hour, it looks like a break and retest. So my whole thing with AUD USD is, we had this like change in the direction right here in the markets. We had a retracement. Then we had another change in the direction. So I'm still looking at this 382 level right now. That price is at, for a potential buy. I was in buys this morning, but when the numbers came out, hotter than expected, for me, I didn't get what I wanted, right? Because hotter than expected numbers, right? We're either gonna see consolidation or we're either gonna see like a change in the market. So just to kind of stay away from like a no volatility kind of market, I exited somewhere around here for like a super small profit. But even if I didn't exit that trade, I technically still wouldn't be stopped out. So realistically, I still like this trade potentially to the upside, but I really just don't like that candle right there. I don't like that candle at all. So personally, I would just need to see a couple more bullish candles print, on this level again, kind of like when price was, slowly trending up, over here, right before that news came out and dropped again, right? Would kind of just want to see if we could, just kind of start to pick back momentum, but not in any rush to try to buy it just yet. And that's like how I kind of feel about every Forex pair right now. So GBP USD potential setup that I'm looking at, right? But if you look at it on the daily, we clearly, unlike AUD USD, like, majorly broke out of, this resistance level right here. So I'm looking at, from a Fibonacci standpoint, from this swing low to this swing high, we've retraced 50% of it, which is back in that range too. But I want to see if we're gonna maybe come tap down here one more time or even hit that 618 like I know Price likes to do a lot. So not in a rush to buy GBP USD, either. USD CAD, no, this is USD JPY. USD CAD just kind of looks, messy, but kind of feeling like, the same way right now. So from like a from a buyer perspective, I'm looking at this like, from two ways, because if you're a buyer and you draw this fib from this, swing low to this swing high, we have this 50% level right here and this 618 level right here that price usually likes to find its way to, but we kind of topped out, like right over here, right? We started to print these like not higher highs right before, finally, starting to fall. So long term, I could still see USD CAD buying, but I feel like, those talks could maybe be revisited, at the 618 level, maybe, and then also, potentially at this 50% level. But from a seller perspective, if depending on where you want to draw this fib, if you take it from this swing high to this swing low, right? We've retraced 50% of that move, which price likes to do on the first impulse. But that 618 level is still here, that it could potentially tap, I feel like one more time, before heading back down, to those lows right here. So I feel like the markets are just kind of still in a corrective phase. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like there's a lot of when the markets are like that, there's a lot of like
Mhm.
fake, fake
Yeah.
moves up that have
Mhm.
no follow through. So
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah.
thinking it's about like how much time is spent above a certain level. Like
Mhm.
you can kind of break above the 382 or the break below the 618, but it's like how much time is spent the most important thing
Yeah.
when in this type of environment.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I most definitely agree. And I feel like the trend is still intact, for all
Mm.
of these pairs, like relatively, like, we've corrected, we haven't changed direction, so it's still a correction to me of this move right here. So anything, on this level, on this level, is still valid. And that just kind of goes for, AUD, USD, this 382 level. And then, the same thing with GBP USD. Like to me, this level is still valid. And this level is still valid to me, even though I wouldn't like it as much just because of how much it dipped. But just from a wave theory standpoint, like these levels, the impulse is still intact. So not rushing to switch my perspective yet, but I'm not rushing to take trades that fit, what I think either. So yeah, just being patient, man, most definitely. But are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, yeah. And I was even gonna say like on the GBP, even though I don't
Hmm.
trade it,
Hmm.
I'm mentally prepared for like the GBP to be like a big fake out. And
Yeah.
like I think we if we're both not trading it, like wouldn't impact us, but I'm like I've seen it happen before. It doesn't happen often, but I'm prepared for like this move to like stop out all of the shorts from here
Hmm.
and then just come back all the way down.
Yeah.
Like it's possible. Anything's
Yeah.
possible, but
Yeah.
it does look bullish. Like yeah,
I
if it
think
holds.
that classic break resistance, retest resistance, because I used
Yeah,
to take a lot of those trades, but I would find that I got stopped out on a lot of those trades, and
yeah,
that price would always retrace just a little bit deeper, right? Make you think that the trend maybe is going to change, but it's really just that, those deeper retracements, like that 50% retracement, that 618 retracement. So, yeah, so I agree
yeah.
with you on that for sure. Yeah.
Because if I were to play this, honestly, I might just be patient and wait for like the price to come down to like 1.271.
Yeah.
And if somebody's buying the resistance break, I haven't updated this in a long time, so I might need to push things forward. But there's always like other traders looking for different entries. But anyways, yeah. I do think it's interesting the daily candle on the DXY. When I was looking at it before, we were all the way up. We were kind of pushing up at the highs,
Yeah.
but we've pulled back quite a bit. So this white line here is the low of February. So for me, it's all
Okay.
about how much time are we spending back. And I also noticed this whole sideways area,
Yeah.
the dip from a couple days ago, we dipped right into that area. We're coming out of it. So for
Yeah.
me, the buyers, the number one objective is to stay away from this sideways area.
Mhm.
But if they bounce like they are right now, they're coming up into all of this supply.
Yeah.
So things could get messy. I guess we need a certain event. I think the FOMC maybe is coming up
Is that
in,
this week?
let me see, it's actually okay. It's in March 20th. So another next week
Next
on
week?
a Wednesday.
Okay.
So still time. Honestly, I don't like it, but I'm thinking maybe we're gonna do one of these,
Right.
maybe
Right.
until the 20th, maybe.
But I think the path, just from like a price action standpoint, I think the path to least resistance is is to the downside, or
Yeah.
what would you say?
I agree because like the simple trend perspective is this is
Right.
the trend at the moment.
Yeah.
And to remove that, the next step is just a lower high.
Yeah.
So like sellers should be aiming for a lower high here. And in my opinion, I would maybe use from the very simple perspective, I would just use one of these like resistance levels right here.
Mhm.
And like anything below this yellow line can qualify as like a potential lower high. So yeah, I think what you just said too, like give it time to play out because we could set a lower high, but it can bounce a little bit further. So
Yeah, for
you kind of
sure.
gotta want to get more information. So yeah. I was looking at the
And
yen, my yen chart. Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
no, no, I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, so like, it's because like it's like kind of like easy. I don't want to say it's easy to get confused, but you have fundamentals like telling you one thing, but only for today, not long term, right? So you have fundamentals kind of
Hmm.
changing the story a little bit today, but then you have, but then you also have like price action. So it's like it's like which one do you want to pay more attention to? I feel like it's kind of my slight problem right now.
Hmm. The one guy I watch, I really kind of follow what he does, and he does it 80/20. So he does like 80% price action and 20% fundamentals.
Okay.
That's personally how I do it because I do understand the fundamentals are important, but I think it's how people are positioned when it comes to the fundamentals, if
True,
that makes
true,
sense.
true.
Yeah.
But it would just be interesting to see the dollar, in this downtrend that it's been doing. But then, all of a sudden we kind of just flip flop back, and now we start to see hotter than expected numbers. It would be
Mhm.
it would create a weird environment, I think for the dollar. But like you said, we have election time. That's like in November, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's gonna
so
be fun. This is gonna be the first time I've watched these
me
markets during an
too, me
election.
too, me too.
Okay,
First
cool,
time that
cool.
I could like clearly like, okay, election, I'm watching the markets. Yeah, and I heard the markets get very volatile during those times. So yeah, it would
And
be
I can
interesting.
even go real macro with the dollar on the 6 month chart. Just removing these lines here. I mean, technically, the bulls on the dollar are looking for a higher low, but these charts, I don't pay too much attention to these charts, but from like a trend perspective, the dollar bulls are like setting a 6 month try. They're 6 month inside bars.
Okay.
So on the 6 month chart, the past 6 months, the past 3 months have been inside last year's 6 month range. If that makes sense, but
So looking at that realistically, we haven't gone anywhere in a long time.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Well.
inside bars.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's going to be choppiness, there's going to be volatility. But the good thing is on if you go on the weekly chart, like you've mentioned this too, there's nice trends. So at least it's been favorable in that sense.
But
But it is getting tight, which means the volatility is compressing
yeah,
overall from August 23. So it's been, like yeah, little over 6 months,
yeah.
I guess.
I'm looking at that, and that's like week after week, closing higher, closing higher,
Yeah.
closing higher. Like that's a
And
lot of
that's
movement.
cool,
Yeah.
right? If
Yes.
CPI
Yes.
prints higher, if the fundamentals start getting like higher CPI,
Mhm.
hopefully maybe we can look forward to like,
So
some trend.
maybe it's just a little too early to try to call a
Hmm.
direction on the DXY. Maybe that's just all it is. Yeah,
I would agree.
yeah, for sure. But
You need to make, yeah, like some serious changes. Like you need to break this low, like break,
like
and 100 is a psychological level.
yeah, for
This
sure.
100 for 2 years now. Yeah, because it's going to be May soon in a couple
Mhm,
months.
mhm.
100 is kind of psychological, in my opinion. Maybe not. I don't know. But 100 seems like a
I
pretty
think
round
so.
number.
I think so for sure. Yeah, but what were you trading this morning? What are you looking at? Are you still
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
anything?
So honestly, I had one really good trade and I wanted to add on another piece to it, but I didn't. And it might look degenerate, but I was looking at the 5 second chart on the NASDAQ
Mhm,
and we dropped on the CPI information.
mhm,
But right here, this purple line is yesterday's closing price. So at 4 o'clock, the stock market closes. So the futures, the NASDAQ closes. We
mhm,
stalled right at this price right here. So I waited like 10 seconds and I bought one micro NASDAQ.
mhm,
And I essentially, once it made that first move up, I put my stop loss kind of like I just raised my stop loss to like break even.
mhm,
And I watched it go up. I raised my stop loss a little bit too aggressively right here and it got taken out.
mhm.
I felt the
Dang.
FOMO on this next move up, but it was okay. It was this one right here. This is the trade I
How
took.
many points did you close out with for?
So this one was 50.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
Nice.
this yellow line right here is the low of yesterday. The real trading hours low of yesterday. Or sorry, the real trading hours high of yesterday. So I was
Okay.
using that as a stop to raise my
Mhm.
stop.
Let me ask you. So
Hmm.
when it came to that purple line,
Yeah.
Are you waiting for price action, or are you just answering strictly it being off of where you're looking to trade?
So it's basically I was purely just looking at the 5 second chart and
Mm-hmm.
just watching, are the sellers continuing lower? Just
Mm-hmm.
simple like that. Like, because when I've traded this on the 5 or 15 second chart, I've found some good trade setups where the sellers are selling, selling, selling. They're making new lows. They're making new lows. The moment they fail to make the new low, sometimes the market can really just make a big push in the opposite direction. So with some trades, I like to buy two, sell one, and then your stop loss is like risk-free position. So it's a really good feeling to be in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're really disciplined with the getting out, because if they make another move lower, you just have to eat the loss, and it's
Yeah.
usually going to be $40 to $50.
Mm.
It's
Nice. That's a real nice trade
manageable.
though. Is it still going? Like, is it still trending up?
So what happened was I stopped out way too like
Yeah,
quickly. So it was
yeah.
50 points. So it was $100, which is not
Mm.
bad.
Yeah.
Kind of made my morning, but it
Is
would
it is
have
it
gone
still
up.
trending though? Is it like still going
Oh,
up? Where is
so
it?
guess what
Okay,
happened? Yeah, let's see, let's
kind of
see.
kind of came back down.
So when the market opened, so it was right here. This is where it was. When the market opened, it actually flushed all the way down.
Mm.
Guess what I took? I shorted the S&P this morning at the open because we were gapping up, and on the S&P on the 1 minute chart, I took this trade right here. So right on the S&P, let's see, the actual open was right there. Immediately once we broke down below the open,
Mm-hmm.
um, I took a short right here, the pass back below the open, and each 1 minute candle, I'll make this a full screen. Each 1 minute candle was lower, lower, lower. So I kept lowering my stop at the high of each 1 minute candle.
Yeah.
Now the market is closed at the moment, so I don't think I can pull it up if I can see my trade. Oh, I can. I think I can. Um, it should just take me 1 second.
Yeah, right. What platform is this?
So this is called Quant Tower,
Quantum.
and here it is. That's where it is. So right at the open here, I sold two. I don't know if you can see those little arrows,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I sold two of the micro S&P. And immediately, once we got the first push down, I take off one to make it a little bit less. Because when you have two micro ES, each time it moves down 1 point, it's $10. So at this point, it's moved
Yeah.
down 2 points. So that's $20 in profit.
Yeah.
I take one off. I have $10 in my pocket. If we get a new high of day, my risk is about $30 loss. So $10 in my pocket, $30 loss is a $20 loss in total. But because each 1 minute candle is lower and lower and lower,
Yeah.
I stop out right here because the next candle was the first candle we broke above the previous candle high.
Okay.
So that was $80 trade. So I kind of
Nice.
locked in two of those in the morning.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I did short a couple Bitcoin um, kind of trades, but I stopped out of those really like a bit early, and those kind of added up a little bit for me. And I had a pretty good day, but yeah, I closed one short down here, but
Man,
it wasn't a lot of size.
you got in there pretty nice.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
I'm seeing on the
actually,
yellow
sorry.
candles, right? You have some shorts on that yellow candle right there. Right there,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
the colors are not perfect. That should maybe change it. But I did take a short here. I covered
Mm,
pretty quickly. I bought this dip right here because, like I was telling you, when we popped up to a new high and we pulled back, it's a red flag because people are a little bit over leveraged. I was reading on like Twitter, some people they're complaining because Bitcoin's 70,000. I'm like, why are they complaining that Bitcoin's 70,000? Like that's really high. Like they should be happy, but
mm,
it's probably because they bought at 72,000.
yeah.
They're down a couple percent and they're a little bit
Yeah.
over leveraged. So
Yeah.
yeah, I zoom in on those charts. With Bitcoin, you can get really good opportunity zooming in because when you zoom into the 1 minute chart, it really accelerates on the way down. And I like to use the RSI. If you go on the 1 hour chart, when the RSI, see that lowest, see that bottom candle?
Hmm.
right here. That's literally where my entry is. The entry
That
is
means
right
like it's
here.
oversold, you know?
Yeah. And I used to fall for this in 2022 when Bitcoin was falling. When
Hmm.
Bitcoin was falling for the whole year, the RSI used to get oversold. I used to buy, and then it kept going lower because it was a bear market. And my mind
Okay.
wasn't, I wasn't able to adapt to the different environment. My mind
Yeah.
was still thinking, oh, it's 2021. Like, we're going to go back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually this will stop working. But at the moment, it has really nice bounces. They can give you, it may not look like a big bounce, but this bounce right here, I mean, it's 2%, and off the low, it's 3.5%. And you don't even have to catch all of it. I play the 15-minute
That's
chart.
crazy.
I
It's
was
so
out
many pips.
completely for just 1%.
That's so
But yeah,
many pips in such a small
yeah,
amount of like movement.
it's
It is
unbelievable.
crazy. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
crazy. Are
And
you
there's some crazy,
watching?
these coins, they move so much.
Man, what's this thing stuff I'm hearing about these meme coins, man?
Yeah, look, like,
What do you know about this? Because I don't know too much about them.
yeah, so this is Pepe.
I've
I
heard of
mean,
that.
I bought this when it was so low and I bought
Oh wow.
$200 worth. Right now it would be worth 900, so I'm not complaining too much because it's a nice gain, but I'm okay with that. But they moved up 400%. There's one called Dog Whiff Hat. I'm not happy about this one because it just I watched it go from 30 cents to $2,
Oh wow.
500% up.
Okay, so what is a meme coin if you know? Because I'm
Okay.
a little confused.
So essentially it first started with Dogecoin. You remember like
Yeah.
you saw Dogecoin, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So it's basically because in 2021 it had such an insane run, and because this was during the GameStop run. This
Yeah.
was the same environment. It was February 2021. We had these big candles up, and then in the spring 2021 had this big move up. So it's all become about like the whole GameStop memes. It's like an echo of the 2021 environment.
Okay. Yeah, because
So that's how I see it. Yeah.
I'm seeing my timeline on Twitter is like just full of people crazy returns, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I want some, but don't know too much about them to really just to really get involved.
Yeah. I
Do you?
honestly I believe most people are not making money off of it.
Um,
And how do I say it? That's the reason why it's going up so much is because there's not a lot of sellers. The reason why they're able to make
mm,
such big gains is because there's only a few people that have been involved. And they've
okay.
been really lucky. You know, they
Mhm.
they kind of like took advantage of it while it was hot.
So
Bonk.
then,
Yeah.
what happens when it's time to withdraw?
So
Is
what's interesting is now people are actually starting to buy them. So this is where like the cycle, you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to
Mhm,
predict, but like
mhm,
we all know what's about to happen, you know.
mhm.
It's from a fib perspective, it's natural. Like it's natural
Yeah,
for a market to pull back
yeah.
like 30 like to the 382 to the like 0.5,
Mhm.
and that's still a 30% drop from here. So,
Oh wow, that is
yeah.
c- crazy. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But it's
Well,
interesting. Crypto market's very hot. It's a lot of good volatility if
yeah,
you're
for sure.
patient
Yeah,
for the dips. Yeah.
I haven't gotten any dollars out of the crypto market yet, but
Mm,
I'm if it does if we do get a retrace on Bitcoin or anything like that, man, I am looking to try to get in, man, next time for
yeah.
sure. But
Do you see
we'll
what I
see.
have? Do you see my screen a little bit right here?
Yes.
I have the DX trade going. Yeah, I
Which
got
one
it
is
for
that? Which
like
one?
I have a 25K account on my DX trade.
Okay, what is this the is this a meme coin you're trading?
So this one, I'm short one of those meme coins.
Okay.
It's about almost break even right now. I'm
Hmm.
short the dog whiff hat. To be completely honest, it's a bit of a fundamental trade, which is not for me. It's like I'm I'm not using a lot of size, but
Hmm.
this coin, the valuation right now is 2 billion. So $2 billion. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. It's a brand new coin. I mean, I would expect it to pull back a little bit. So I'm short like 500. here,
Crazy.
but it still looks bullish from a technical
Mm,
chart.
yeah.
But it's I have a 25k challenge going, so I'm halfway there at the moment.
What's your profit goal?
So it's 27,500. So
Oh
it's
yeah, nice, nice,
what is it?
nice,
10%? Yeah, 10%. Yeah.
nice.
And then you got to do that other one, obviously. So we'll see how
The
that
phase
goes.
two.
Yeah, yeah.
How much is phase two? 5%.
Yeah, 5%.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
hardest part is this trailing drawdown. This red line,
Yeah.
the yeah, it sneaks up on you. It's just it
Mm,
trails up with your profit. So you got to
yeah.
keep the profit and you
What
can't really give it back.
is that the max? Is it 10%? Or is it 5%?
You know what? It's actually it's 8%. The
Yeah.
max goal is 8%,
It's 8%.
and the
Okay.
max daily loss is 5%. So
5%.
they're
Okay.
really
Yeah. Yeah. Just
kind of
gotta be
strict on that.
cautious. Yeah, for sure. But let me take a look at
Yeah, yeah.
some of the fundamentals that are coming out tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but just for the rest of the week. Today's too. It's still pretty early in the week. Yeah, yes and no, because I feel like the markets are
Hmm.
gonna move, right? It'll be tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday is always up in the air for me. So, okay, so we have core PPI and PPI coming
Okay.
out on Thursday. So if these numbers are hotter than expected, you know, probably we'll leave that bearish DXY theory for the moment. But if not, then trend should continue. But tomorrow, I think I'm just gonna kind of see it how the price action works. Are we kind of like moving slowly but to the right, or are we like creeping down? And I think going in to Thursday, like in the morning of Thursday, if we're still like in the same area, haven't dipped out too far, then I think I'll try to continue my same like analysis on the DXY, like leading to those numbers coming out. And depending on like how the numbers come out, like I'll either hold my trade or I'll close out and try to reanalyze. But Thursday is a pretty important day, and then Friday we have some more news as well. But pretty much just a price action kind of day, right, going into tonight and tomorrow. So it'll be pretty interesting to see, what the dollar does.
And I just looked at the dollar right now. The
Mm.
high of the CPI reaction and the low of the CPI reaction, like the first 30 minutes,
Yeah,
right now we're right in the middle. So for me going into tomorrow, it's all about whether we're above the reaction high or below the reaction low.
yeah,
It's
and
very simple like
yeah,
that.
kind of really the same thing, right? But on the 1 hour, it's looking like a potential break and retest, but we have dipped, kind of like below that wick high, but we'll see if we get some kind of bullish reaction here, or if we just get no kind of action. But for me, if we don't get bearishness and we get no kind of action, to me that's still bearish. But if we get bullish action, then that's bullish. But I
Yeah.
think 2 out of 3 things favor the bears more than the bulls. So I'll be looking, just to see, if I can get in. But yeah, not looking to rush anything, man. I think on my thing, I'm up $203, man. So creeping creeping slowly there, and yeah, looking to try to
3%. Yeah,
yeah,
that's good. That's good.
almost there, right? Almost there. But yeah, man, maybe on Thursday, man, we can get back, kind of do another one of these, see how the markets, have done. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that'd be cool. I should be free for sure.
Okay, yes, sir, yes, sir. But yes, sir, man, appreciate you, man, for taking the time and speaking with me, my brother.
Same. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. And appreciate to anybody who watches it. I don't know if anybody ever makes it this far, but if anybody does, man, I appreciate you for sure. So I'll see you soon, my brother.
All right, cool, cool. Take
Yes,
care.
sir. Yes, sir.